Welcome, welcome. I hope you are all doing awesome. It's Thursday, December 18th. Uh, I hope you're not already checked out because you still have about a week to go. How about you, Andrew? Are you just
Not
seeing
checked
like,
out yet.
turkeys and presents floating around above me, or did my face change into a Christmas tree? What do you see?
Not yet. Not yet. We're still
Okay,
locked in. Ready to close out the year strong.
good, good. We Not me, but other departments, and, like, even my boss, we had, like, a calling blitz yesterday where we were just going gangbusters on the phone, and it was really interesting to see and hear everything going on. Um, it was pretty dang impressive. Um,
That's amazing.
so, yeah, we're all locked in too, I assure you.
That's good.
I
That's good. It's
assure
wild
you.
to see the differences in sales reps in particular right around this time. Some reps will check out, they either hit their quota or not. All of my
Yeah.
opportunities been pushed back to next year versus the reps that are still prospecting, and the reps that are still prospecting and calling people are going to come into 2026 with meetings set, hit the ground running, versus the
Yep.
flip side where the other reps won't close deals until, February or March maybe.
Yeah. So you're technically a sales guy, right? I mean, that's what you're
Yes, I'm
teaching about.
yes, sir.
All right. Oh, I think I just realized, did let me look at our view here. Oh, yeah, you guys are not just looking at us. I'm sorry. You guys are looking at a slide deck going, "Oh no, what did I get into?" So, we're going to get started here in a few minutes. So here's the deal. Uh, we're going to have about, I'm going to call it 45-ish minutes worth of pure education around sales. Now, normally, Andrew, what I do is I put together all these fun little like interview questions and drive the conversation that way, but it looks like you've got a slide deck for us.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. So before we dive into that, I am going to run a poll. And today it's a slightly different poll, guys. But what I'm interested in is, like what are you guys trying to get out of this? So question number one in the poll: what makes it hardest to win new managed services agreements? And there's a few options there. It's all single choice. Okay. So you got to pick the one thing that makes it hardest. And then number two, what result are you hoping to achieve from today's session? Um, so those are the two questions on the poll. I would love if you guys could fill that out because I will yell at Andrew and make sure that he helps you achieve that thing, if especially if multiple people want the same thing. Um, at around 12:30-ish, I am going to interrupt Andrew and his presentation, and we're gonna take a little, I call it, commercial break. And in that little commercial break, Andrew, we each get a couple minutes to like educate the audience here about our platform, our product, our service. And then we go right back into the education. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great. As long as when you interrupt me, you do it very loud and obnoxiously.
I am excellent at that. I assure you. I I'm very, ask my kids.
I'm sure.
Uh they yeah. So my son, he's 13 and he's all about this 6-7 thing. So I am so sick of hearing it that I have leaned into it because if I make him think I think it's cool, then he won't want it anymore.
Yeah, funny
So,
enough, my daughter is going to turn 3 next month, and even she started doing it.
oh
So
my goodness.
I'm a little biased, but she's so cute. It's hard to be upset when
Yeah.
even she does it. So
Well, and the cool thing is, at 3, if you do it, they're just gonna do it harder. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
so
Well,
so there's no reverse psychologying them, right?
right. I made the mistake of laughing the first time she did it, and ever since she knows that she got me.
Yeah. Yeah. She does. She knows.
She knows.
She knows. All right. So I'll leave that poll up for another minute. It looks like somebody already dropped off. I think maybe I upset them by saying those two numbers. I won't even say it again, okay? All right. Well, Andrew, without further ado, please dive into the presentation.
Absolutely.
Teach us, how do we ensure an 85% managed IT close ratio? Because that sounds unrealistic to me.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And anybody that has been in sales for more than a day will hear that 85% close rate and immediately question it. That's what I did in my interview with TAG Technology Assurance Group. I think that might be why I got the job because I pushed back so hard on it. But now being on the other side, I'm working for the company. I've seen it firsthand and it really does work. So, but thanks again, Steve and Alternative Payments for allowing me to speak to everybody today. And I know it's around the holidays. I know people are very busy trying to close up the year. So I really appreciate you being here for this presentation. So as Steve said, we're going to talk today about how to ensure an 85% managed IT close ratio. So again, I'm Andrew Schmitt with TAG Technology Assurance Group, and here's TAG's value proposition. Who are we and what do we do? So who is TAG? We're an association of managed technology service providers. Been around for 27 years, if my math is correct. We delve in all of these industries that are listed here. Collectively, we are present in over 150 marketplaces all throughout the US and even into Canada. Collectively, we do over $1 billion in products and services annually, and we service over 500,000 small to medium businesses. Now, that's a big deal. It gives us what we call a brain bank of technology, right? That means collectively, there's not one technical problem that we'll be able to work on together and figure out. It also means there's not one piece of new technology that we aren't currently looking at, including all this AI stuff that's coming out. And since we're doing over $1 billion in products and services annually, that gives us that cooperative purchasing power. Our tag member benefits from a couple different things, specifically profitability and sales growth. That's what we focus on with them, and reoccurring revenue streams. Anybody that's ever spoken to TAG knows that we focus very heavily on recurring revenue streams. We know that there's a point you can reach where you have enough recurring revenue coming in every month to cover your expenses. We call that place nirvana, right? And a lot of our TAG members have hit that. Again, that means all of your expenses are covered by that recurring revenue coming in month to month. And every new sale that you have goes directly to your profitability. Our mission is very simple, right? We want to increase our members' profits and sales. How do we do that? We do that through education and we ease your introduction of new technology to the marketplace by, again, combining that combined intellect and purchasing power. It's a team effort. So it sounds great, but what do we do exactly to get that done? We do managed IT sales training. And then salesperson coaching. I coach and mentor a number of sales reps and teams and sales manager. We not only have a very specific sales process that we're going to go over today, but I coach the psychology of sales, how to get that yes at the end of a deal, how to sell to people with different personality types, right? Sales appointment setting. We found that a lot of people don't know how to set a first appointment, and that's fine. We'll help you get over that hurdle. Marketing lead generation strategies, financial analysis and industry benchmarking. Remember, we've been around in this industry for 27 years. At this point, we've looked at over $1 billion in financials in this industry. We know what they're supposed to look like. We can make a couple tweaks usually right off the bat to make your company more profitable. We do have a managed IT pricing calculator that helps our tag members price out their deals. We help with mergers and acquisitions. And then we, again, collectively, we're a professionally led peer group. We also help you with your operations team. Just like the sales side, we do operations training, tech stack development and deployment. We work with SLAs, metrics, and KPIs. We really help people out with their strategic business reviews. Now, that is different than quarterly business reviews. That's been a huge topic of 2025 and as we go into 2026. And then we help people recruit and interview, right? We help many of our tag members hire for different positions, whether that's a sales position, management position, or operations position. Now, again, all this sounds great, but what actually effect do we have in the marketplace? So the industry average for the IT industry is 6% EBITDA. The vast majority of our tag members have 20 plus percent EBITDA, with our top performing tag members reaching 30 plus percent. So 30 plus percent or even 20 plus percent, much different than 6%. That's the impact that we can have on this industry. Here's our phenomenal team. You see that good looking guy there on the left. And I know there are a lot of peer groups in the IT industry. What really makes us different is that we own our own MSP in Southern California. It's called INET. And this is a big deal because everything we talk about today and everything we talk about with our members, none of it is hypothetical. None of it is in a perfect world, this should work, right? We have boots on the ground. We have a sales team. We have a sales manager. We have an operations team and an operations manager. When we want to test a new piece of technology or test a new step in the sales process, we run it through INET first. If it works, then we relay that information to the rest of the tag organization, right? Our biggest line is we teach what we do and we do what we teach. We're in the trenches with our members. So again, how to ensure an 85% managed IT close ratio.
I
Everybody on
gotta
this
say,
call,
I'm still skeptical, man. I'm excited, but
I hope so.
cautiously optimistic.
I hope so. Cautiously optimistic is better than not optimistic at all. And
Yeah.
if you weren't questioning that, then I would question why we're even on this webinar, right? We do have a very specific sales process, but the sales process is ever changing. You'll hear me say dozens of times throughout this, we do everything for a reason, right? So I'm going to go a very high level overview of the sales process. Then we'll go into more detail step by step. The first thing we ever recommend doing before even reaching out to somebody is perform a dark web scan. And I'll show you what one of those looks like. We're going to need the information from the dark web scan to set that first appointment. Again, sometimes that's people's biggest hurdle, is getting an appointment. We're going to a few things before we even go on that first appointment. We're going to send out what we call a front-end package, and I'll show you an example. We're going to send that via FedEx, again, for a very specific reason. Customer website research and LinkedIn research. These should be a given for any sales reps. You'd be surprised how many people skip these steps. Then we're going to go to the first appointment. On the first appointment, we're going to present what we call the differentiated presentation. Talk about what really differentiates you from your competition. And on that first appointment, our main goal is to get their permission to run a network analysis. Second appointment, we're actually going to perform the network analysis. When we leave, we're going to send them a press release or white paper. Side note, those are written by tag, so we can take that off our tag members' plate. An internal meeting, we're going to have an internal meeting to go over the results of that network analysis before even presenting it to our prospect. This is a big step of the process that I've seen many people skip. If the sales team is not in line with the operations team, that's when everything goes haywire. On the third appointment, we're going to present the network analysis results. The network analysis software that we use is called Rapid Fire. Fourth appointment, we're going to discuss Azure. And then our fifth appointment is going to be the closing appointment, right? Now, I know,
So
long process. I'm sorry, go ahead.
that is a lot of touch points, and that's good
Yep.
because I think they used to say you have to have like 5 or 6 touch points, and then it became like 12 or 13, and now I think the number feels astronomical. So the fact that you have all of these primary points, and let's be honest, setting the first appointment, that alone is going to take several touch points to make happen, right? So
Correct.
all of this is designed to make you reach out to that prospect repeatedly. And by doing all of that, they're going to, I don't know, like it's almost psychological, subconscious. You are building trust just by being there.
Yep. I couldn't have said that better myself. I should pay you $20 for saying that for me because that's exactly what I was going to say next.
I'll take it.
I'll send you
Now
the money in the mail.
I have a question. Send press
Absolutely.
releases, white papers. You
Mhm.
said tag writes that. I just want to clarify. You're not sending a press release that says, breaking news, ABC company listed in dark web scan, right? This is
Absolutely not. And I have some examples later on in the presentation. But on that second appointment, when you're doing the network analysis, whatever you talk about in that meeting, you're going to make a mental note of. A lot of times it's AI or cybersecurity or the cloud,
Mhm.
Azure, right? When you leave, you're going to say, thanks, Steve, for the time. Let's set our next appointment to go over the results of your network analyzer. When you leave it in the meantime, you're going to send them an article. Say, hey, Steve, I know we talked about artificial intelligence. Well, here is an article that Alternative Payments recently wrote that I thought you might find interesting. And that article, specifically about AI, is written by Tag. Right? We have a writer. We write one. We release a press release every month. Does that answer
Lo
your question?
It does, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And,
And again,
do we have to use rapid fire?
there are different tools out there to do a network analysis. Rapid Fire is the best one that we have found thus far. We have two phenomenal guys on our operations team, Jonathan and Brandon, and they are constantly vetting new technology and better ways to do
Mhm.
things. If they find something better than Rapid Fire, they will absolutely update this process and update our membership. To this
Sure.
point in time, with the results that Rapid Fire gives us, they haven't found something better.
Okay.
And again,
That's
they're constantly testing that. That's a great question.
yeah,
And
that's a s
all
I mean,
just
that's a
in
solid
general,
response too.
yeah, in general, all of the technology that we use, the technology we use for our dark web scan or anything in between, they're constantly vetting it, testing it, and seeing there's something better out there. Part of the benefit with Tag is that we are constantly able to stay ahead of the market, right? If we stop doing that, then we lose one of the biggest benefits of being a Tag member. And again, I know this is a very long process. Again, we do every single one of these steps for a reason. I get the question all the time. Do I have to do every single step on every single sales opportunity? We always make a joke and we say, absolutely not. You're only going to follow every single step for the opportunities that you want to win. Now, the biggest crux of this entire process is that second appointment is doing the network analysis. If you can get a prospect to let you run a network analysis and then explain to them the results in a way that they understand, that is how not only you're going to close the deal, but how you're going to close the deal at the price point you want. It's not going to be a race to the bottom in terms of price. Because, like Steve said, you're building trust, you're building value. Most of our deals that we close were always higher than their current IT provider. Most of the time, we're higher than our competition, too. So let's go into a little bit more detail about each step and see if you're asking great questions. Please keep them coming. Also, Steve, are you monitoring if anybody has questions as we go?
I am, sir. So,
Perfect.
with that said, if anyone has questions, the chat is well, right now it's a ghost town. So feel free to use the chat, guys. We're here.
Let's make this.
I'm here. I'll talk to you.
Let's make it
Andrew, I'm
more
sure would
conducive. I
love to
like it.
answer questions too.
I would love to. I'd love to. So we start off with a dark web scan. And again, we do this before we even reach out to people. Why do we do that? Because this is going to show us if that company has any compromises on the dark web. It identifies compromised credentials for an organization's domain, right? We recommend run this on everybody. Run it on your current customers, run it on your own company, run it on your prospects, run it on your dentist. If you're thinking about donating money to anybody, run it on that organization too. Run it on everybody, right? Here's an example of one. You can see all you need to run one of these is the domain, the website of the prospect, right? You see this is a school, and we ran this back in 2021.
So
So
I'm sure they've
when you're
fixed all of these problems by then.
exactly, let's hope. If we close the deal in 2021, they've been resolved since then. So we're going to use this, and it's very important to establish that this is not a scare tactic. We don't use this as a scare tactic. I've seen so many reps go in there and say, you have compromises on the dark web, you're hosed, you're going to get breached, all this other stuff and try to scare the prospect into meeting with you, right? This is solely an educational tool because everybody that you talk to, every single one of your prospects is going to have some form of IT, right? They're either going to have what we call a chuck in a truck, which is a break fix person, another MSP, or some form of internal IT. And over half of those people are going to like their current IT provider, right? So we have to start to drive a wedge between the prospect and their current IT provider, and the dark web report is how we do it. So when we go through the dark web, we just this in this slide we simply explain to them what the dark web is. Now it's 2025, that'll be 2026 here in a couple weeks, which is scary.
Mhm.
Most people know dark web means bad, but we reiterate that on this slide. We say, the dark web is where all the quote unquote illegal activity is done these days. It's not so much burner phones, right? Anybody that is buying or selling weapons or drugs or unfortunately human trafficking, all that is done now on the dark web. Another thing that's done on the dark web is that people find out pieces of your personal information, they can post that for sale on the dark web. And it's very important to establish this as well. Alternative payments tag, we're not hackers. I'm not logging on. I don't have your information. We have a software that simply scans the dark web based on your domain and will give me this report to say how many compromises your domain has on the dark web. All right. Then you go to the report itself. Now, Steve, everybody's going to treat this just like a group photo. What do you do when you're in a group photo?
I usually do this.
So when you view the group photo, you're going to look for yourself first. You want to see how you look.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's going to look for themselves first on this chart.
See, I thought you meant like what face do I make when they take the picture?
That is a good face, though. I'm glad we got
Yeah,
that
I
one.
usually I usually go for like the most awkward, uncomfortable looking face. Like, why is he making that face? Like that's
There you go. Stand out against the crowd, right?
yeah.
So again, educational tool, right? We go through each column, and a lot of this will say not disclosed. It will never show their full password if they have it. And we can reiterate, we're not hackers. We don't have this information. If we wanted this information, we'd have to get on the dark web and purchase it. Our
Right.
software simply runs this report and shows us that it's out there, right? So the date found, that's pretty self-explanatory. The email that it was under, if they have the password, it will show when that password hit, and it will only show the first 3 or 4 letters within the password. It's very impactful if you can say, hey, D Lee, is that the first 4 letters of your password? And D Lee's like, oh my goodness, yes, it is. Again, not disclosed will be a lot of those. That PII hit column at the very end, that is the number of pieces of information they have on each person.
Mhm.
So a 4 might be a first name, last name, address, and birth date. A 6 or 7 might be first name, last name, address, birth date, social, routing number, accounting number, credit card number. I've seen mother's maiden name on there before, right? And why is
Oh,
that
that's
important?
fun.
Yeah, a lot of times that's a people's security question, right?
Yeah.
And the main question you want to get to by using this report is, does your current IT provider have a process in place that they have notified you every single time you've had a new compromise on the dark web? Did they notify you on 211 that you had 2 compromises on the dark web that include a password? If they don't, which most people don't, that's a huge miss. And that is what starts to drive the wedge between your prospect and your current IT provider. So now I told you
Mm.
all, we run this before we even reach out to people. Can you see
Yeah.
now, Steve, why we do that?
Because you want to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Exactly. If I'm
Mm.
calling tag, if I'm calling Andrew at tag without running a dark web report on them, I'm going to try to set a meeting. I'm going to be a little hesitant, even if I'm a very experienced sales rep. Versus if I call tag and I have run this report and I know Andrew is on the report 3 times, I'm going to call Andrew and say, hey, you have compromises on the dark web. Did you know about this? I need to sit down and meet with you about it. Right. That's why we run it first. You call people with a lot more confidence. You know exactly what's going on.
So what do you say to the MSPs who are like, wait a second. Steve just said fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I don't want to sell based on negativity.
Right. Again, educational tool. And again, most of the people you talk to, they're going to like their current IT provider. But I
Yeah.
always say it's an ignorance is bliss type of situation.
Mhm.
Our sales process is designed and our job is to show them, even though you like whatever IT provider you have, they might not be keeping you as cybersecurely secure as they need to.
Yeah.
And that's what the entire sales process is built around.
Now, Brian has Good question. Are you paying for that tool? It looks like you probably use an ID agent by Kaseya.
Yep, you're exactly right. And again, just like Rapid Fire, we are vetting other dark web monitoring tools. I know people have a feeling about Kaseya. Uh, to this point in time, ID Agent always produces more and better results than other tools that we have vetted, but they're currently in the process of still vetting other ones out there. So yes, short answer, yes, we're paying for that tool. And
Okay.
it's an ongoing service, right? It's not just a one-time run a report type of thing. As soon as we add somebody to our customer base, we get real-time updates. So since I run some of these, um, I have a login. So every time one of our customers, one of iNet's customers, has a dark web compromise, I get an email about it. I send that to the operations team and the sales team and say, "Hey, are you all taking care of this? Are you reaching out to the customer?" And they hate me for it because they say, "Andrew, we've been doing this for 27 years. We know what we're doing. Yes, we're on top of it, but I still want to check because we promised them that that's what we would do."
Yeah. Okay.
So again, you can see why by running that on the front end, that gives us a lot more gusto and confidence to reach out and set the appointment. Now, depending on who's the call, I don't know if you will have a current customer base or who you're reaching out to. Obviously, a cold call is more difficult than if you're reaching out to a current customer or somebody that you've networked with. So at Tab, we teach a lot of prospecting strategies that we call above the line prospecting strategies. And that's all about the networking, right? Joining your local chambers, getting a referral group together, right? We want our sales process designed as after you met somebody through one form or fashion 3 or 4 times, then you bring this up to me. It's a lot easier than a straight cold call. So, for instance, it says customer calls here, but Steve, let's say that you and I met at a chamber event. We've been buddying up, met you a couple times. The talk track is very easy. Hey, Steve, really going to know you over the last couple chamber events. Been great to meet you. It sounds like Alternative Payments is a great company. Glad you're happy. It's been really cool hanging out with you. We haven't even talked about what Tag does. Well, one thing that we do for our paying IT customers is we do something called dark web monitoring. Well, Steve, just because we've been buddying up lately, out of courtesy, I ran one on Alternative Payments to make sure that you all were covered, right? Turns out you do have some compromise on the dark web. I just want to make sure that your current IT provider has made you aware of these and you're doing something to alleviate them, right? Again, you can go into a little bit of explanation about the dark web is. More than likely, they understand dark web is bad. And you say, "I have the report. I'd love to come out with you, come out and explain it to you." Now, some common objections you'll get at this point in the process is, "Arm, I already have an IT provider. They're supposed to be taking care of that." Okay, great. So you know that you have 34 compromises on the dark web and 2 of them were last month, right? They did alert you last month about that on the day? Well, no. Okay, so they're supposed to be taking care of it, but clearly they're not. Or another objection might be, Andrew, I'm just busy. Can you please email that to me and let's set some time to talk after I review it?" We never ever want to email dark web reports to our prospects. Selfishly, as salespeople, we know as soon as we email them that, we've lost all power to set that meeting with them. They're going to take it. They're going to go to their current IT provider or just forget about us. They're going to ghost us. Well, we don't tell the prospect that. We explain to them, "Hey, this information's already for sale on the dark web. Me emailing it to you over the internet would only put you more at risk and put us at risk too. It's counterproductive. I'm trying to keep you secure. Emailing it to you is counterproductive. I'm not going to email it to you." Also, if you've never seen one of these reports, you're going to have more questions than answers. So I'd be doing you a huge injustice by emailing it to you. Right? I have a hard copy of the report. I have Tuesday at 10:30 or 1 p.m. open, which works best for you. I'll bring the report out. I'll explain to you. I'll leave it with you. After that, you'll have the knowledge that you need to make an educational decision on what you want to do next. So after we set the first appointment, before we even go on the appointment, remember we're doing a few steps. We're sending out what we call a
Uh-huh.
front end package, and we're
Uh-huh.
sending that via FedEx. So Steve,
Why?
I was going to ask,
Because
do you have
you
any
want it to
guess
be
as to why?
tracked and you want it to be signed for, or
You
mainly
want it
just
to,
tracking? You want to know when it was
it's not the
delivered.
tracking aspect. That's a great, great point. It's not the tracking aspect. It's the fact that if I send something via FedEx, it's going to get past the gatekeeper and onto Steve's desk if I'm sending it to Steve. If I
Oh.
just mail it, the gatekeeper's probably going to say, "This is junk," another whatever, I'm gonna throw it away. Or if I email it to Steve, Steve's probably never gonna open it. But if I FedEx it, they're gonna know that it's important and it's gonna end up on Steve's desk and Steve's probably gonna open it. It's the same thing that the bank does to me. They mail me things and they say return services requested or important open now. I know they're trying to sell me another credit card, but it's from the bank and it says important, so I'm gonna open it. They get me every single time, but I know that I'm gonna
Now,
open it the next time.
let's be honest though. The people that you're sending this stuff to, they're wising up to this, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, they're starting to, oh, the gatekeeper is going to start opening packages now, all because of you, Andrew. It's all
There
your
it is.
your
Secret's out.
fault specifically.
This would be my last day at Tag, so it's been nice knowing you. So you're going to do that. You're also going to do customer website research and LinkedIn research. Now, the best sales reps will print off 1 or 2 pages of the customer's website and take them
Mhm.
with them and show that they did that. In today's age, that shows initiative, which a lot of people don't even have, right? And then LinkedIn research. Who are these people connected with? What groups are they a part of? Do we have any common connections, right? And then we're going to go on the first appointment. Here's a quick example, though, of the front end package or a couple of them. This
Mhm.
front end package will talk all about your company and everything that you do. And when we FedEx it, we have it arrive either on the day of or the day before our meeting. And that also helps us because it gets all the first meeting particulars out of the way. They know who alternative payments is and what they do, right?
Nice.
On that first
Very nice.
appointment, the entire objective, the entire purpose of that first appointment is to get your prospect to let you run a network analyzer. That's it. If they walk in and say,
Okay.
Steve, you seem like an awesome guy. I heard there's something called a network analyzer. I'd like to do one of those. You say, great. You schedule it and you walk out the door.
I
That's
love
your
how he
sole
just
purpose of,
assumes I'm going to say great.
well, fact of the matter is that's probably not going to happen, right? They're probably not going to straight up ask for a network analyzer.
Yeah.
So what do we say on the first appointment to get them to let us run that?
That's a
Well,
good question. And I want to pause here for a moment and answer that in a second. And I want to answer, we've got a couple questions that we'll be able to get to around the network analysis as well. What I'd like to do now, we've been talking about this really cool sales process that it's going to create clarity and momentum for not just your MSP, but for your prospects. That same principle applies to how you run your business internally. If you're working hard to close new agreements, but maybe your back office is slowing you down, then you're leaving money on the table. So we've got a lot more to cover. Stick around. This is not going to take long. Um, Alternative payments is a payment automation platform built specifically for MSPs. Over 700 MSPs use us to automate their accounts receivable from invoice delivery to payment collection to reconciliation. Now, here's why that matters. You can have the best sales process in the world. You can win every deal Andrew teaches you how to close. But if your clients are paying you, 45, 60, 90 days late, you're not actually capturing the value of that win. Your revenue looks great on paper, but your bank account tells a different story. So that's the problem that we solve. We're going to give your clients a branded portal where they can view invoices, they can update payment methods, enroll themselves into autopay. We're going to connect to your PSA accounting software so that invoices go out automatically and payments sync without manual entry. And we're going to do it all while at lower processing rates than most MSPs are paying today. And like I said a second ago, one of the biggest wins for MSPs is the client portal. This is a secure, branded experience that gives your customers everything they need to pay you without picking up the phone or sending you an email. They can see all their outstanding invoices in one place. They can add or update their own payment methods, whether that's ACH or credit card. And here's the big one, they can turn on autopay themselves. You don't have to ask, you don't have to chase. They just set it up and you can forget it. And what that means for you is fewer collection calls, fewer awkward conversations, and a professional client experience that matches the quality of service that you're already delivering. Now, none of this matters if it doesn't fit into how you already work. That's why we built deep integrations with the tools that MSPs actually use. We connect with your PSA, whether it's ConnectWise, SuperOps, Autotask, Halo PSA. We'll connect with your accounting software like QuickBooks, Xero, Sage. The result is a two-way sync that automates the entire workflow from invoice creation to payment collection to reconciliation. So here's how it works in practice. You're going to create an invoice in the PSA. It automatically goes out to your client through alternative payments. If they enrolled in autopay, they're going to get charged on the due date. The payment, the fees, the payout all sync back to your accounting software without you having to do anything. That's the whole cycle handled. When QuickBooks downloads your bank feed, everything just matches. So, what does this actually mean for your business? First, you're going to get time back. Our partners eliminate over 80% of the manual work in their accounts receivable process. That's time that you can reinvest into sales, service, or maybe just getting home earlier. Second, you keep more of what you earn. Our platform can save you an average of 3% on credit card processing fees uh, because we encourage you to either pass those fees to your client or get them to use ACH. For a lot of MSPs, that adds up to thousands of dollars a year. Third, you get paid faster. When clients are on auto pay and invoices go out automatically, cash hits your account sooner. That's better cash flow, less stress. And here's the part that people don't believe until they see it. Setup, really only takes about 30 minutes on your end. Our team handles the heavy lifting. We're going to migrate your client payment data. We can help you configure your integrations. We can get you live without disrupting your operations. So, if any of that sounds like it could save you time or money, we would love to show you how it works for your specific setup. No pressure, no hard sell, just a few minutes to walk you through how the platform works and how it would work for your MSP. And we can answer questions and uh yeah, show you the platform. So, I am going to launch a quick poll because you guys know me, I love my polls. Launch. There we go. If you're open to that conversation, you can select the first option. If you're already a customer or you're just here for the education, that's totally fine too. We're glad you're here. But just keep in mind, conversation couldn't hurt. Now, um, normally I would say, Andrew, would you like to do a little commercial? However, I do feel like you kind of hit that in the beginning. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you need to say?
Nope. No, sir. I'm good. I did see a couple questions come through in the Q&A. I'd like to
Yeah.
go ahead and address those. If that's okay. So those don't get skipped over. So,
No, no, yeah, we're gonna address those here in a second.
okay.
Um, we'll launch a poll for Tag. If you're interested in a conversation with Andrew and the team at Tag, we'll launch that here in a moment. Okay. Now, um, we have gone back to I'm just going to verify. Yes, I can stop sharing my screen now. We've gone back to your slide deck and
Yep.
you're going over the first appointment overview. And this is where you're going to pitch that network analysis, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I saw Kevin asked, "Do we charge for the network analysis?"
Yeah.
Answer is we do not. We actually used to.
Okay.
We used to, and some of our tag members still do. Some people, pros and cons of everything. Some people say, "Well, I'll charge for this. That way, I make sure the prospect has buy-in, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
take the charge for that off their first bill." And I get that.
Sure.
However, what we have found in doing this for so long is that adds an additional hurdle to the sales process and sales team that we don't need. Because we're going to position the network analyzer as something they need to figure out where all the holes are in their cybersecurity. If we do that
Mm-hmm.
correctly, we don't have to charge for it. And therefore, we will get more opportunities down the pipeline than we would otherwise. I know that we've closed deals by not charging for the network analysis that we otherwise wouldn't have if we did. So, Kevin, I hope that answers your question. And then somebody else asked, what are the most common things that reveal themselves in a network analysis? That's a fantastic question. I actually have a
Yeah,
slide that shows the top several. So we'll get to that in just a little bit if that's okay. But great questions.
perfect.
Please keep them coming.
Yeah.
So again, we're on our first appointment. We've ran the dark web. We brought that with us. We sent out the front end package, did our research. I want to point out we only want to talk to the owner, the CEO, or CFO. A lot of times people will try to pass you off to their IT person. We do not want to do that. We're essentially going to be telling them that their IT person is not doing a good job, right?
Mm.
And our sales process and the way we deliver it is tailored around making a business conversation and not an IT technology conversation. It's not, we're using this specific technology because it's the best. It's, we provide the best service, and here's how and why we do that. And here's how it affects your business. And here's how it affects your customers, right? All that circles around when you talk directly to the CEO, owner, or CFO. We are going to
What
have a
if it's a
copy of the website
huge
for now.
company though? Like, is a huge company still need a CEO or CFO buy-in?
Typically, yes. There's
Okay.
some type of higher level, C-level exec. And when we're going after customers, if you're talking about customer size and prospect size, we typically, our bread and butter is right around a company that has 25 employees to 75 employees. If somebody's just starting off in the MSP industry, I would say, maybe a 10 employee target would be great. Anything lower than that, you're going to spend just as much time on a 5-person company versus a 25, and you're going to get more profitability and revenue from the 25
Mhm.
person company. When you get above 75 employees, the 75, 100 plus, a lot of times those companies have bigger internal IT teams, and then you're looking at a co-managed deal. And those are fine. We closed those as well. But typically the 25 to 75, those companies only have, again, what we call a chuck in a truck, which is a break fix person that comes out when something breaks, another MSP that we're going to compete against, or 1 or 2 internal IT people, right? Does that answer your question?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. We're going to go through the website, or we're going to show that we print off pages of the website. We're going to go through what we call the differentiators presentation. And I'll show you a couple of examples of that presentation here in a minute. We're going to go through that talk track of the dark web scan that we already have, right? We're going to educate them. And that, again, that starts to drive the wedge between them and their current IT provider. The whole thing about the dark web scan is, hey, you didn't know about this. They should have updated you in real time every time you had a new compromise. That's only one piece of the puzzle of your cybersecurity. If they're not doing that, what else is not going on? Well, the only way to know that is to do a network analyzer. Sometimes I call it a network health check. It's a lot less daunting to a prospect than network analyzer.
Mhm.
So you schedule a network analyzer, network health check while you're in sales 101 in any sales role. Schedule the next meeting while you're on your current. uh, People, I hear all the time, people leave the meeting and say, okay, great. We'll get that network analyzer scheduled for you. I'll send you some times and dates that we have available. Let me know what works best for you. Get out of the habit of doing that. Schedule it right then and there. Hey, I have 4 time slots next week and 4 time slots the following week. Which of these time slots work best for you? Well, I
Hmm.
got to get back to you. I got to check. Okay, well, I'm out of town. I understand that. I know you're a busy guy, busy gal. Let's go ahead and schedule something 3 weeks out so we have it on the books because these time slots get filled very quickly. And if we need to readjust them, we can. But schedule the next appointment while you're on your current. So again, the 2 main tools that we have on the first appointment to get them to agree to a network analyzer is the dark web scan, and I said the differentiators presentation. Now remember, INET is the MSP that we own. Again, we have a sales manager and a sales team. Well, one of our prospects called out our sales manager and sales rep and said, all you MSP people, you sound the same. You come in here and you say, you provide great service. You're a true technology partner, right? Everybody says that. What does that mean? It's not tangible. You can't grasp that, right? Anybody can say that they're a great service provider. So we took a step back and we said, you know what? You're right. That is what we say. So we created a presentation that shows concrete differentiators that our competition won't have. And we created it so that all tag members can use it right off the bat because they're tag members. So I'll show you just a brief couple slides from the differentiators presentation. Anybody that's been on any sales meeting knows the first meeting, it's always kind of stuffy. People are trying to figure out who each other is and who's what. This is the first slide, and I always say is a picture's worth 1,000 words. It breaks the ice. Sometimes it gets a couple chuckles, it gets things moving. We say one of the main differentiators that INET has is that we are ISO 27001 compliant. Now, Steve, I don't know if you know about ISO certifications or standards, but anybody that knows anything about ISO standards knows that they're very expensive and they take a lot of time to get to, right? So
Mhm.
what TAG did is we became ISO certified, ISO 27001 certified. Therefore, our TAG members are ISO 27001 compliant. We took that off their plate.
Oh.
Your competition more than likely will not be able to become ISO certified because, again, of the financial and the time investment it takes to get there. It took us over a year to get there, and again, that financial investment. So that's one concrete, real differentiator that we have versus our competition.
And if you're going after manufacturing, their eyes are gonna light up when you say that.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So exactly. And the ISO 27001 is all has to do with cybersecurity, keeping your information safe. The next concrete differentiator that we have is that we have a proactive managed services approach where we manage, analyze, optimize, and monitor. Then we educate them. Most IT companies have a reactive. You call them when something breaks, they come out and they fix it. We have a proactive. We want to fix things before they're even broken. We talk about the IT maturity journey. We say we've been doing this for 27 years, almost 28. We know that when we meet a new customer, a new partner, they're somewhere between a level 1 and a level 2 on the IT maturity journey. We want to get you to a level 5, which is when you're getting value out of your IT partner. We talk about the dark web scan and then a few other concrete differentiators. And then again, at the end of that meeting, what we're really shooting for is getting the permission to run the network analysis. We say, here's what you have today, and this is where we want to go. We already know you have compromises on the dark web. We don't know what else is going on. We don't know what we don't know. The only way to do that is to do a network health check. We got to do a health check on your system, right?
Mhm.
So once you have secured permission to do the network health check, network analysis, on that second appointment, both a technician and a salesperson is going to go out to do that health check. And again, we do everything for a very specific reason. The sales engineer, the technician needs to be able to do that network analyzer. They're the smart people. Let them do the smart people stuff. The salesperson is supposed to do two things. One, run interference for their technician. Keep the prospect off your technician's back. And two, simply build rapport with the prospect at that point, right? You've already sold them on running a network analyzer. You're not selling them on anything at this step, right? They always say the famous sales phrase, people are going to buy from you if they like, trust, and respect you. This is the meaning that you get them to like you. Any natural salesperson, this is their favorite part of the process. They simply build rapport with their prospect. And then, Steve, you were asking about press releases and white papers earlier. So while you're on this meeting, remember one or two things that you all talk about, because when you leave, you're going to send them a press release or white paper based on your
Mhm.
conversation. And TAG, again, we release one of these every single month. So we have them broken out into many different categories, right? These are just a few. We can put your logo and your name on the article or just your company logo and say, Steve, thanks for your time the other day for letting us run that network health check. We already scheduled a time to meet to go over the results, right? Sales 101, schedule the next meeting during your current one. But we did talk a lot about cloud workspace. Here's an article that my company recently wrote that I thought you might find interesting. That does two things. One, it starts to position you as a true industry expert. And then sales is a contact sport. You have to constantly hit them, right? This is another hit point uh, to your prospect. And I see we have a question, so I'll answer that real quick. If we are a
Yeah, if
single
we yeah, if we're a single member MSP, would this process need to change? That is a good question.
a single member MSP, meaning,
So it's an MSP, there's only one guy. He does all the things, wears all the hats.
yeah, yeah, the process, and that's great. You're a smarter person than I am for sure. I think the process, actually, I know the process would need to stay the same. Obviously, on that second appointment, if you're one person, you're only going to be one person going out there and do it. You are going to have to wear both hats, which I'm sure you can do. So the process should stay the same because, again, remember the whole idea behind this process and why it works is because you have to show the prospect what's currently going on with their network, explain to them the results of that health check to where they can grasp it. If they understand the results of that health check, the network analyzer, that's how you're going to be able to close the deal. So I wouldn't change one thing about this process.
Okay.
All right. Between your second meeting where you ran the network analyzer and the third meeting when you're showing the prospect the results, there's an extremely important step that I've seen too many people skip, and that's an internal meeting. This is when the operations team and the sales team are meeting together, or in Brian's regard, you're meeting by yourself, but that's okay. You can call me. Um, this is where everybody gets on the same page, right? You identify the concerns, you go through the results together. I always say the technicians, the smart people are going to pull out all the smart people stuff, tell it to us salespeople. We're going to game plan how to explain that to our prospects so they can understand it, right? We're going to go over priorities, create urgency. We're going to talk compliancy and industry regulations. You know, are they in the health industry? Are they violating HIPAA because the status of their network? They come to a solution together. Now, how many times are the operations team and the sales team not on the same page? I've done it early in my sales career. The salesperson will promise the world just to try to get a signature in a closed deal, only to have the operations team say, "Why did you promise to do that? We cannot do that." This meeting prevents all that.
That never happens.
Ever. I'm
Ever.
the only person. Yeah. So another great question that came up is what does a health check, what does a network analyzer, what does it show? So it will give you a risk score. And this is the third appointment when you're meeting with your prospect simply to go over the results. It's going to give you a risk assessment score. And you're going to say, Steve, your risk assessment score came back as a 97, which is higher than we were expecting. It's very high, right? It means you're high risk. But Steve, look, this is not a random number. We didn't see your results and say you get a 97. Right? This is a weighted score, and we're going to go through the specifics as to why you got that 97. And here's the answer to your question. Here are some of the most common reasons why people get high risk scores. One, you have user passwords set to never expire. I always use the analogy here. It's much harder to hit a moving target. If your password is set and it stays the same for years on end, it's going to be a lot easier for somebody to get a hold of that password. Or user domain has not logged into the domain. User has not logged in the domain in the past 30 days. That points directly to your offboarding process. This report will show you the specific people that haven't logged in the past 30 days. And your prospect's probably going to say something along the lines of, well, Andrew doesn't work here. I fired him 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, right? Either A, you have no offboarding process, or B, I fired Andrew 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. I'd let my IT people know, so he shouldn't be on there. Well, he is. And if there's a user that's still on the domain that no longer works there, that's an account that's not being monitored. Somebody could get into that and nobody would ever know. It also shows inactive computers, anti-spyware, not installed, everything along those lines. The big thing about this appointment is to start to explain to them the results of the network health check. A lot of people, I see them make the mistake. They go in, they have all this great information to talk to their prospect about, and they try to close the sale right now. Remember, this is big information, right? It takes people, human nature, right? You have to see something 2 or 3 times before you really grasp it and really understand it. And remember, that's the point that we want to get to close this sale at the higher dollar value. So we are not going to present pricing on this third appointment. I get a lot of pushback on that, but I promise you, if you just give them the results, tell them your engineers are still working on a solution, what it would take to properly secure and run your network, we're going to meet back. I'll tell you what that solution is, right? They need to see this more than once before they really get it. So how do you leave the meeting by not giving them pricing? What's the next step? Well, you say just that. Hey, Steve, my engineers are working on what it's going to take to properly secure and run your network. Let's schedule some time. I have Thursday at 10:30 open. I'll go through that in depth with you. In the meantime, I don't know if your company's a fit for Azure, if your company's a fit to go to the cloud, but I at least need to tell you about it. You know, we are industry experts. We need to tell you about Azure, what it is, how it can benefit your company. Even if you're not a fit, I need to tell you about it, right? Here's some benefits to going to Azure. I will say 3 out of the 4 of our customers are going to the cloud. Now, tag being tag, of course, we already made a presentation for you for our tag members that they can utilize. We try to take as much of the work off our tag members' plates as possible so they can go out and sell and close more deals and be more profitable. Again, we have 2 outstanding resources at Tag, Jonathan and Brandon. Jonathan particularly put this presentation together. Jonathan has the certification for Microsoft Solutions Architect. So he has done this presentation 1,000 times, right? That might be exaggerating a little bit. But we put this together for our members. And again, you want to position yourself as the industry expert, even if they never end up going to Azure. Now, after this 4th appointment, it's the 5th appointment. It's a big closing appointment, right? It's when everybody gets all geared up for and nervous about, and am I going to have a good day and close this deal? Am I not? Really hope this meeting goes well. I've done all this work up until now. Our process alleviates all of that, right? We don't show them anything new on the 5th and closing appointment except for customers' investment. Remember, I said earlier, it takes people 2 or 3 times of seeing something to really grasp it. So we're going to go over everything we did with them again. And sales 101, a sales trick is get them to say as many yeses as possible through this process. Now we are going to expedite it a little bit because we've already gone over a lot of information with them. We're going to hit home. It's going to hit home the second time they see it. Hey Steve, remember we showed you our differentiators. Remember we're ISO 27001 compliant. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? Do you remember how big of an impact that has? Yes. All right. Now we did show you your dark web scan. Here's an updated one. You had one more compromise. We showed you this report. Do you remember what the report means and what process should be in place for true dark web monitoring? Yes. We went over your network analyzer results. You had a 97% risk score. Do you remember your 97? Yes, unfortunately I do. Do you remember why you got that score? Remember the user password set to never expire? Remember you had 30 people on your domain that don't even work there anymore? Yes, 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 right? Get all these yeses. Again, we teach the psychology of sales. Get as many yeses as possible before going to that investment. We call it an investment, not a price. So up until here, we built all this value and showed everything that we're going to do, right? And when we give our customers pricing, we do not present multiple options. We don't present a good, better, best, or what I like to say, we don't present a gold, platinum, plastic, wood option. It's one option because that's the option that it's going to take to properly secure and run their network. We also don't line item our proposals. Everybody will, create the charts with the box and then say, well, you need this in this quantity, and that costs that much. You need that in that quantity, and that costs that much. Steve, can you guess why we don't line item our proposals?
Because you don't want people doing a la carte. You want to
Exactly.
you propose the solution that they need,
Yep.
and this is not up for discussion or debate. It's like
Exactly.
it's like when I have conversation with my kids.
And then Brian, I see that you have to hop. I apologize. I'm keeping everybody way over. Please feel free to contact me. Steve, are we going to send out the presentation or contact information so that
Yeah,
Brian and
and in
whoever
fact,
else?
I'm gonna run that poll real quick now.
Okay,
Um, if you guys are interested in a further conversation with Andrew, he or someone on his team can reach out to you. All you have to do is say, "Sure, a conversation couldn't hurt," and this would be to discuss sales for hours on end, right, Andrew?
absolutely. Sales or anything that's
Specifically
again,
specifically selling tag to you. But no, they can answer any questions you may have and see if tag is a good fit for your MSP.
again, sales is one facet. We do the financials, we do the technology, the operations side, we do the marketing side, we do the hiring and interviewing. I love working for Tag. Tag's whole responsibility. I get on and log on my computer. My whole job is to help our Tag members be more successful. It is amazing. It's an amazing concept, an amazing company to work for because I'm just helping people be more successful all day, or trying to at least. So if anybody has to hop, I apologize. It's been a great conversation. I don't want to keep you over. I know everybody has busy lives, but we'll wrap this up. So again, we don't, and Steve's exactly right. We don't line item our proposals because we don't want people menu shopping. They're like, well, that costs that much. I want to cross that off. you need backup. You need a fire. You need whatever it is. I'll explain to you what it is so you understand. But here's an example of what our proposals look like.
Well, that's
It's
like
all
your
groups.
opinion, man.
But dude, love the reference. Love the reference. Again, so we're grouping these, and then we're going to give them one monthly investment and a one-time implementation fee. Now, I saw somebody in their poll said pricing objection. You get pricing objection on almost every opportunity. When they see that price, again, we're closing deals we're more expensive than the current IT provider, along with more expensive than our competition. People
On
almost always
purpose.
balk at our price, right? We have all the ammo we need to overcome that objection right here and now.
Mhm.
Hey, Steve, I get it. It's more expensive than you're paying now, more expensive than everybody else has been here to talk to you. Look, we say this famous phrase, if you want me to run your network how it's currently being run, I'll do it for half the cost that you're paying right now because I don't have to do anything. Remember that got you your 97% risk score. Did anybody else come in here and do a network analyzer? Is anybody else ISO 27001 compliant? And you run through all those benefits and all that value that you have shown them and reiterate, right? And say, that's why we're higher because we're bringing all this value to you. And I promise it works. It really is an 85% close rate and it's ridiculous. So you get all these yeses, you go through this monthly investment, and then you seamlessly transition to a signature by saying, okay, next steps. Well, let's agree on a list of issues. Let's establish timelines. I've got to get you on the onboarding timeline. Our schedule's getting full. Let's go ahead and get this. Can we go ahead and every salesperson needs to be bold enough. If you're not bold enough to do this, you shouldn't be in sales. You've got to be bold enough to ask for the order.
Mhm.
Steve, can I get a signature on this so we can go ahead and get you on the schedule and begin our work? Hopefully, psychology of sales, you've gotten so many yeses, their mind's already yelling, yes, let's get going. Right? And then I have a quick video, just a little comical relief at the end of
the most popular
conversation.
password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on a Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon,
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School
Oh, when did you graduate?
in 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday,
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th,
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie, 6/12/95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gemma. 1, 2, 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
like what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name,
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a terrible.
Again, hopefully some comic relief after a great webinar. Very long process. Every step's done for a reason. Again, I apologize for keeping everybody over time, but it was good conversation. So more than happy to talk to anybody else about this. If you want to talk in more depth about our sales process, about Azure, about what Tag can do to help, please contact me. And then we're going to open up to any other questions that anybody has.
Yeah. Feel free to pop them in the chat. Feel free to use the Q&A. We'll give you guys a couple minutes to come up with some questions. Rowan said this was very helpful. Thank you. We tried
Absolutely.
doing Microsoft 365 and SaaS health checks with a tool, but struggled with getting global admin permissions from their current IT provider. With the dark web scan, we don't have this challenge.
Exactly. So the dark web scan, all you need is your domain. And that's a great point. I'm glad you got value out of this. Thank you very much for being here. Getting the domain admin credentials is one of another big hurdle that people see. And for some people, setting the first appointment's the hardest thing. For some people, getting the domain admin credentials is the hardest thing. Well, it's like everything else, we have a very specific strategy behind it. I can go into in depth now, or we can set up some more time to talk, but essentially it's educating your prospect that those are your domain admin credentials. I always use the rental house analogy. If you have a rental house, you own that rental house, but you have a third party manage it. The third party's managing it, but you should still have the keys to the house because you own it. It's another red flag if your MSP is keeping your domain credentials hostage. I honestly don't even believe that's legal. I could be wrong about that, but if you own it, you should have the keys to
Hmm. It's another one of those, well, that's like your opinion, man.
it.
No, I don't have a good
Again, I
response to
love
that
the
other
reference.
than
I love the
he's
reference.
pretty right. I mean, if you own it, yeah. Hmm.
Great question, though. Being
Yeah,
great questions throughout the whole thing.
I agree. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I know there's only a few days left before everything just shuts down. So thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us here. Andrew, same to you, man. I really appreciate you. It's a pleasure as always to have the folks at Tag join us to give us a real education. This was good.
Well, Steve, great being here. Thank you very much for asking us to be a part of this. Always great working with you and alternative payments. I will say, Steve told you about alternative payments earlier. You know, one thing that we do is financial benchmarking, and we help our members with financials. One of the quickest ways that our team helps people with their financials is we introduce them to alternative payments.
Beautiful. I that's music to my ears. Music to my ears. Well, thanks so much, everyone. We do not have any events for the next 2 weeks because, let's be honest, nobody would come. They're all checked out. So we'll be back in the new year. We've got a lot of great stuff planned. I'm like, oh, I'm so ready to tell you guys about it, but we gotta just wait a little bit. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.